Hello YouTube chess lovers and my friends, this is Gunjan here. Welcome to the 49th episode of Dirty Chess Tricks. In this episode, I'm going to show you some of the wonderful tricks and traps exist in the exchange Slav from the white perspective. The opening arises after the following move order: d4, d5, c4, c6, and now white exchange in the center with c captures d5 and c captures d5. Okay, the main line continues with knight to c3. And the important point I like to highlight here that if black continue with inaccurate move knight to c6, then white has this lethal break e4, and you can check it out the database where white has scored some great victories. So accordingly, black needs to stop it, and that's why the main line continues with knight to f6, restricting the e4 move. And we reach to a very critical junction of the theory. When I was researching about this line, I have gone through some books and the DVDs, and to my surprise, most of the books and DVDs has concerned only two moves, namely knight to f3 and bishop to f4. However, as usual in my videos, I always deliver the surprise package, and this video is not apart from it, as here I am going to recommend a very rare but very effective bishop to g5 move. Well, idea is very simple. In many lines, white wants to capture this knight, which is a supporter of the d5 pawn, and then immediately put pressure on this d5 and b7 pawn, especially if black prematurely take out his light square bishop, which happens in many Slav lines. Now, as I have highlighted over here, black has tried 4 options, and let's see each by turn. The first move I want to consider is bishop to f5, which looks very natural and many Slav defense player will play it, except against bishop to g5 it's a bit problematic, because after the simple capture, bishop captures f6, it doesn't matter however black recapture, let's say g captures f6, white has these sneaky tactics, queen to b3, hitting 2 spots, and black in fact cannot defend both the pawn. So even though your engine suggests that white is slightly better, if you think about practical point of view, this position always favors the white. The second move I want to consider is knight to c6, which in fact the highestly played move in this position, and after that we are going to continue with e3. Well, if black plays here e6, then his bishop will be tremendously bad. So accordingly, we are looking at the lines where black tried to get out this bishop before he closed down with e6. Once again at this position, bishop to f5 is a wrong move. The simple reason is, yup, you got it, very simple, bishop captures f6, g captures f6, and now queen to b3, and the same tactics work this time as well. So it is very clear that black still cannot take out that bishop. So many educated Slav player comes up with this a6 move, just waiting for the right moment to take that bishop out. Well, here my recommendation is you should play the move queen to b3, and again our threat is very simple. We want to take this knight and then take on d5. If black plays e6, then once again you can see the difference. Our light square bishop has not been obstructed, where black light square bishop is completely jammed in. So accordingly, there is one move which helps black to take out his bishop, and that is knight to a5. Attacking the queen, Queen to c2, very nice move, stopping bishop to f5 as well as knight to e4 idea by black. But black is more than happy as he can continue with now bishop to g4, taking out that big tower, then closing on with e6, and black is a happy chappy, right? Nope, that's not simple, as in many cases white has some sneaky tactics in the picture, and accordingly here white continue with h3, hitting the bishop. If bishop goes back to d7, then we have no problem. The bishop remains passive. So more critical response is what happens after bishop to h5. Well, at first sight this variation looks completely harmless for the black camp, as it doesn't have any problem to taking out his light square bishop. But believe it or not, after just one move, black can see how pitiable his position is, and the move is f4. So idea is very simple. We want to play g4 and then f5 and trapping the light square bishop. And in two of my games, my opponent has continued with h6, which is a horrible blunder in this position, as after the simple continuation, bishop captures f6, e captures f6, and now probably they thought that once I'll play g4, they can put the bishop back on h7. But what they overlook is this move, f5, and no matter however black wriggles, he is going to lose a piece. The third move I want to consider is knight to e4, which in fact the third popular choice by black, but once again it fails to the following sequence, namely knight captures e4, pawn captures e4, and now the simple move rook to c1. Grabbing the open file and looking at the weak c8 spot. Well, in the database, most of the games continue here with knight to c6, attacking twice on d4 and same time protecting the c8 bishop. But I think this is a wrong continuation. The simple reason is after d5 attacking the knight, that poor knight cannot move. The simple reason is after queen to a4 check, white wins the pawn and in fact the game. So accordingly, black has to deliver this check. So idea is very simple. If white block the check with the bishop, then the d5 pawn will be lost. But white has a better move, namely queen to d2. And now in the view of hanging knight, black is forced to exchange this queen. Queen captures, bishop captures, and after knight to e5, we reach to the critical junction of this line where by force white get a winning edge with bishop to c3 attacking the knight. Black doesn't want to play knight to d7 as his bishop will be very cramped. So accordingly, black can try the move knight to g4 or knight to g6. Let's say knight to g4. But after that, white continue with the threatening move e3. So bishop to b5 is a threat which misplaced the black king. So black needs to stop it with bishop to d7. Afterwards, a slightly surprising move, rook to d1. And it's funny that currently black cannot even free up his dark square bishop with either e6 or g6. In order to do that, black has to play knight to f6 to enable those moves. But now white can play bishop to c4, completely stopping e6 idea and only allowing the move g6, which actually he wants. One of the game in the database continue with rook to c8, attacking the bishop, bishop to b3, and now indeed black plays the move g6, thinking that nothing is happening in this position, but after just one move, boom, the black position completely collapses. Obviously you cannot take on d6 as f6 knight is hanging, and in the game black continue with the obvious move bishop to g7, which obviously backfires with d captures e7, king captures e7, bishop to b4 check, king to e8. Rook on h8 is not a happy chappy, but what black can do? And after white's next reply, knight to e2, it is very obvious that black has a completely miscoordination in his camp. And on top, white is ready to castle and launch a devastation on the black king, which is caught on the center of the board. So far we have seen that black has tried various things to take out that light square bishop, but against bishop to g5, he is not able to do it. So how about a solid looking move, e6, which again, second most popular choice by black. And you will be amazed that there are some nasty traps exist in this line as well. First of all, white's planning of campaign is very simple. He will continue with e3, and after bishop to e7, next two steps of the white is very simple. He is going to play knight to f3 or bishop to d3 in either move order. So for example, in one game, white continue with knight to f3, and after knight to c6, bishop to d3 happen on the board. Black castle on the king side, white does the same. And now here comes the problematic thing, what to do to activate that poor bishop. Well, most logical continuation is b6. If you cannot activate on h3 c8 diagonal, then the logical response is play the b6, activate on b7, where it can support knight to e4 idea by black. All looks great, right? Yup, but one problem that after this move, black is completely losing. Yes, you heard it right. After this move, black is completely busted. Now, before I show it to you, I want you to pause this video and find out what is wrong with this natural looking move b6. Okay, let's get started. The first move is very obvious. Bishop captures f6, destroying the defender of the h7 square. And here, by force, black has to capture with the g pawn, and even after that, his king will be wide open and white get all the winning chances. But the most important question is, black is not a stupid. He's obviously going to take with the bishop, right? And what's wrong in that? Well, here comes the answer. White will play the move queen to c2, attacking on h7, and it doesn't matter whether black continue with h6 or g6, the position is completely lost. Before we look at it, the first question comes to the mind that, well, hang on, but what about knight to b4? Isn't that a great move, attacking two spots? Well, here white has a simple sequence which gives him the winning edge. Bishop to h7, king to h8, and now after winning a pawn, white has this counter-attacking move, queen to a4. If king takes bishop, then queen takes knight, and white emerges with an extra pawn. But what about knight captures a2? So now if you capture the knight, then black will capture the bishop, and once again the material is even. Guess what? White will still remain a pawn up after this deciding blow. Knight captures d5. What a move! So idea is very simple. If black take this bishop, then knight captures f6 comes with a check, and then later on white will take this piece and white will be a clear pawn up. If black capture this knight either with the pawn or the queen, let's say queen takes knight, then white has a simple move, bishop to d3, and that poor knight is going to be captured on the next move, and at the end of the sequence, white emerge with extra pawn. Okay, back to this position where we were looking at what happens if black plays the move g6. Did you spot it? Yup, it's once again this nice deciding blow based on this loose knight on c6. Knight captures d5. Bam! Well, if simple black capture this knight, then white queen will capture on c6 and white will emerge with an extra pawn. But then what about queen captures d5 supporting the knight? Here the first move is very obvious. Bishop to e4. We are insisting to getting our piece back. So if the queen retrieve, then c6 knight will be lost. So the last try by black is knight to b4, counter-attacking your queen. And here, rather than going into the complications such as bishop captures d5, knight captures c2, which is in fact somewhat okay for white, I think the better sequence is queen to b1, and after this move, white get the piece back with a decisive advantage. Last but not least, what happens if black continue with knight b to d7? Let's see one example. In this game, white continue with bishop to d3, black castle on the king side, knight to f3. So these moves are very obvious, no change at all from the white side. And now in the last game, we look at knight to c6. In this game, black continue with knight b to d7. Okay, that doesn't look so threatening, so we are going to castle on the king side. And now a6, trying to expand on the queen side. And generally my recommendation against such a structure is you definitely want to consider the stonewall attack setup, which start with knight to f3, f4, and then put this rook on the h3 square, where white has some nice attack going on the h7 square, which is not easy to stop. You can definitely check out some games in the database which will give you a very good idea how to create a kingside attack and win the game very quickly. However, I like to show you one nice trick which you should definitely know if you are going to play this line in the tournament practice. In this game, white continue with rook to c1, and after the move b5, he just stopped the b4 advance by black with a3. Black plays the natural move rook to e8. So idea is very simple, that poorly placed d7 knight will be rerouted on the g6 square, where it has some influence on the white king side. Here white continue with bishop to f4, and the trick is set right here. Any black player who see this move can easily understood that white wants to play h3 and then preserve the black square bishop. So why not play the move knight to h5? So as white has not played the move h3, you can exploit this move and get the bishop pair. Well, yes, the idea is right, but I'm sorry, the execution is wrong, as black has fallen into the white tricky camp, because white has this star move in the position. Boom! So all in all, in many lines, white get this pawn advantage, and the big tactical point behind this, that if black capture this knight, then bishop to c7 and black queen is a goner. That's it guys, I hope you enjoy and learn my mini replica of Exchange Slav. With this novelty bishop to g5, you can surprise a lot of your tournament opponent. And as I have shown in this video, it contains a lot of tricks, so you have every chance to finish your opponent very quickly and get the full point. Well, thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, subscribe and comment on this, and I'll meet you in my next episode very soon. Bye and take care.